Hello, hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome. There's all the people hopping on. Awesome. Kelsey, you look beautiful. Hello, everyone. All right. Well, good morning, everybody, and
Hey,
welcome.
Tish.
Hey, good to see you. We're just gonna give people a couple minutes to jump on here. Um, yes, welcome to this month's Get to Know VO. This is a free monthly call that we do the third Wednesday of every month, and we focus on a subject that opens up either things that you can be thinking about, things that are good for you to know as you're building and growing your voiceover business. Um, and today we are excited to have our vocal sensei, Faith Rumer, here joining us with some exciting new, not new because Faith, an exciting new format of the many decades and years of experience and multifaceted understanding of the voice that Faith has. Um, if you were here on Ask the Sensei, you've met her. She comes in and does vocal health trainings with us often and is part of our Mystery to Mastery program. Faith is um, the multi hyphenate in the most powerful way. She is a gifted singer songwriter. She's an amazing singing coach. She is an amazing vocal coach. She's an A-list dialect coach. She has a speech pathology background, and she is an amazing acting teacher and also a motivational speaker. So all about the voice Faith Rumer embodies. So today, we're excited to hear about the new applying how your voice and your emotions, opening up your emotional reservoirs in you. And why don't we take it away? We're joined here by Jeffrey Gilbank, who is Dojo team, and Tyler Ashley Williams, who is Dojo team. So they're in the background if you need anything. But yeah, let's get started. Excited to see everybody here. Um, Faith, welcome.
Thank you, Tish. Very excited to be here. And I am excited for this presentation, to actually present what's happening with my work with my clients and how it affects all of the voiceover work that we're doing, and also just our creative work in general. And it's all about how we can use our voice and our emotions together to create real magic in our work. So I'm going to go ahead and start, if that's all right with you. All right.
Yes, please.
I'm going to share oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, if you guys want to share where you're from and where you're
Oh,
calling from
yeah.
in the chat, as we get started, that would be great to get a sense of who you are, where you're at. Oh, how about where you're at and where you are on your voiceover journey? That would be a great thing to know. So, but you can do that as we get started. So.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, I'm from Los Angeles. And I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and I'll be going in and out of some slides that I want to share with you. And we'll have a really great discussion about this today. So we're looking at emotional power and freedom for voiceover artists, actors, and creatives. And I love this, how to get out of your head, get real, and express emotional truth in your work. And so today, let's see, let me get in the slide here. Okay. Let me go ahead, and today we're going to look at what keeps us from authentically connecting to our text, why we shut down our feelings and our emotions, where our emotions are stored in our body, and a practice that we can start embodying and honoring our emotions. And then if I will have to make some time to work with someone on my emotional connection technique. So let me go ahead and stop this for a second. Now, emotional shutdown happens for everyone. Almost all of us are muting our feelings because we're just simply too scared to feel them fully. And this emotional shutdown often happens for voice-over actors and actors, but it also happens for singers. It happens for dancers, writers, rappers, storytellers, and composers. And some of you may be one or all of those things. This emotional shutdown is partly because of what's happened to us in our life, what certainly all of us going through the last couple of years, it's made a huge difference in how we're expressing ourselves emotionally and feeling comfortable with that. Now, finding and bringing our authentic and honest emotional life to our work is the most important thing that we can do to make it come alive and make it unique and to make it a beautiful human expression. So that doesn't matter if you're doing commercials, or if you're doing games, or if you're doing reading audiobooks, or any expression that you're going to be doing using your voice. If we don't do that, we are just technicians, and a computer can generate more technically perfect art than we can. But a computer cannot bring the depth of human emotions to the art. That is our job. And when we commit to finding and bringing our own personal emotional response to our creative works, well, magic happens. So when you were a child, do you remember how easy it was to express your feelings? Yeah. When you sad, you were, yes.
Were we supposed to be looking at slides? Because we're not seeing slides.
I turned them off because I just want to talk to you for a second, and then
Sorry
we're
to
going to come back on again. Yeah. Yes. So I'll be going in and out of the slides. I like to see people as much as I can, and this is wonderful. So when you were a child, do you remember that how easy it was to express your feelings? Maybe when you were really little. When you were sad, you cried, angry, you screamed, and when you were happy, you laughed. And your body just responded instantly and naturally to what you were feeling. And there was just no problem. Now, I want to ask you, do you remember the first time that your parent, a sibling, a teacher, another adult told you to stop crying? Or when they told you to stop getting mad? Well, I know that I do. My mother never wanted me to be sad, ever. I wanted her to be happy, so I learned to suppress any of my sad feelings. I learned that if I faked my happiness, that she would be happy, and it worked. She told everyone that I was the happiest little girl, but of course that wasn't always true. Now that helped me to become a strong-willed teenager, a strong-willed child, and I knew that I could get through anything, which really isn't a bad thing, but it also made me afraid to be vulnerable. And when I got to be an adult, I judged people who I thought were overly emotional as being weak. So expressing emotions just wasn't in the cards for me. Now that changed. That really, really changed for me. I really went on a mission to open up my feelings and to help my clients and everybody that I was working with to open up their voice and their feelings too. And my voice work made a huge difference for me as far as being able to open up to my feelings. Now I'm sure you remember a time when an adult or a teacher or a society told you to stop feeling so much. So just take a minute and think back about that time. Just think about one time when that happened to you. And if you can, it'd be great if you could share that in the chat, which kinds of feelings you wanted to express, but instead you were told to stop them or mute them. Like I wanted to be mad and someone said, they told me not to be mad. What do we got? For me, it was being sad. I couldn't be sad. Let's take that minute to think about it. Mm.
And open up to being vulnerable and authentic and being able to share it. Those are things
Yeah,
that are not necessarily the easiest to
right.
yeah.
I mean, little boys are told not to be angry. Little girls are told not to be angry for all different reasons that we're told to shut this down. Yeah. So if you'd like to go ahead and share that in the chat, or you can just think about it and let yourself kind of contemplate on that. We're in your own life. I wanted to exclaim with joy. People would tell me I was too much. Oh my gosh, Anthony, that is so common for us creatives that people tell us, oh, you're just too much. Shut it down. It's too much. We get that. Yeah. Praise for being quiet.
Mm,
Yep. Yep. And accommodating and encouraged to not be wild. Crying was a form of weakness.
mm.
Right. Shutting down the sadness. Marissa, you had what I had going on. I just got a sad feeling about that. Just, that you shared that with me, that I could see it in your face, how that felt for you. Absolutely. Wow. So let me go back to my slides a little bit here. Okay, so what happens to you? What's your biggest struggle around accessing your emotions for your creative work? Despite the importance of emotions in our creative work, many of us struggle to tap into them when we need them the most. See if any of these things are what happens to you. Do you just get nervous and your body freezes up? Or maybe you're trying to give too perfect a performance. And in doing that, you can't access your feelings because you're in your head. You're afraid to be vulnerable or open. You don't want to be fake. That's maybe your biggest fear. I don't want to seem fake with my feelings or or my expression. So you hold back, and then we don't have enough impact in our work. Or perhaps we try too hard and it feels pushed and fake. You're in your head and you feel self-conscious. So I know that some of those resonate with you. The truth be told, I've had all of those things happen to me. Absolutely. Yeah. And you can share in the chat too, if you'd like, at any time, uh, anything that's going on with you. Now, what could keep you from authentically connecting to your text and the words that you're saying? Now, we're always like, I can't connect to these words. And it's super important that we do that as voiceover artists, as actors, as singers, as, if we're rappers or anything, any creative place that we are using our voice, we need to be able to connect authentically to the text. Now, it could be physical limitations. So tension is the #1 enemy to authentic expression. Your voice might have some physical limitations. So insufficient breath support, incomplete vocal resonance, and inadequate vocal placement can limit how you authentically connect to your text. Now, your voice may also seem disconnected from your body, but our feelings are in our body, not up in our head. So if that's happening, which I see a lot with clients that I work with, then you're not going to be really connected to the text the way you want to and your words. But you might also have some intellectual limitations. And that would be like you're saying the words without really hearing what you're saying in your head. Yeah. Or your process might be to read the words over and over or try to memorize them instead of finding a way to just experience the words. Now, voiceover artists especially, maybe you're trying to read the words correctly instead of being in the moment and responding authentically. Now, you also might be having some emotional limitations, which you might have a preconceived idea of what you're supposed to be feeling or expressing. You're thinking ahead to the next line instead of letting the moment take you there. That can happen a lot. Or you want to be in control of the moment instead of just letting it happen. And of course, you might have a fear of really feeling your emotions and you're used to just muting them. So let's go a little deeper with what could be going on. What's causing this struggle? Well, you might have some self-doubt. You doubt your ability to express your emotions convincingly. You you think that you can't keep your emotions from coming across as fake. And so you express emotions that are insincere for the scene. It's all due to like you doubting your ability to be able to do it. But you also might be dealing with some distractions. You're distracted by life. You don't, have a place to focus on your creative work, or you're overwhelmed with your daily demands. You don't have a designated time to access your feelings. So you just need a dedicated space and a time to practice how to use your emotions in your creative work. And the thing is that we all have real emotions. You just need help releasing them, and then trusting those feelings as you use them in your work. You also might have some emotional repression. We're going to talk a little bit about that. You've learned to repress your emotions as a way of coping with difficult situations, or you need to work through your emotional blocks before you can use your emotions effectively in your creative process. Now, there's a way to access your emotions in a really safe and powerful way that becomes your consistent practice. With an authentic and emotional vocal instrument and body, you're living in the moment as a real person. Your emotions are full and they're real. You're no longer up in your head watching yourself. Does anybody have that experience? Like, I just feel like I'm up in my head when I'm doing my work, and I feel like I'm watching or directing myself. Or you take your take to take or night to night. Your work is going to feel fresh and alive when you have an authentic and emotional instrument. And then you're going to be creating characters and reads that feel more alive, that really talk to your audience and connect with them. And here's the cool part: your work just becomes more fun. It just becomes more fun when you have an authentic and emotional instrument. Now, as a voiceover artist, your voice is your acting, performing, and creativity expression in your creative expression. And having an expressive, connected, and powerful voice affects how much work you're going to book. Maximizing your vocal instrument is crucial if you do want to get noticed by directors and your audience in a good way. And I mean a good way, because sometimes if we're not connected to our feelings or our voice, your director's going to notice you, but they're going to notice you like, oh, she's so not connected to what she's doing, or they're really pushing that. It's really important, if you want to book better and more exciting, rewarding work, which I think we can all say a yes to that. I know I'm on board with that. And you want to connect even deeper with your emotions and your words. And you want an expressive voice that will give you that competitive edge, an expressive, powerful, emotional voice that's going to give you that competitive edge. And finally, that you want to get out of your head and into your body where your magic is. I'm going to go turn off my air conditioner here because I'm speaking over it and it's kind of loud. So in the interest of taking care of my voice, I'm going to go, that feels a lot better. Yeah, much better. Great. Okay. Now let's talk about how and why emotions are stored in our body. This is really important because when we don't express an emotion, it stays in our body. It just stays in there, and it has a tendency to block the emotional and physical energy and vocal energy that we want to use to express in our work. So we often want to avoid feeling uncomfortable emotions, so we don't express them. They stay in our body. We deny these feelings, or we try to mute them in some way. So we're okay with feeling, I don't want to feel angry, but maybe I'll feel irritated. I'm okay with feeling irritated, but man, don't let me go to that angry place. Or, I feel, I feel a little bit sad, but I won't really let myself grieve. That can happen too. And these muted feelings will stay in our body, clogging up the emotional flow that is really natural for us. So then we have an emotional system that is stagnant, stale, and it's toxic. Can anyone relate to that? Yeah, absolutely. Right. Now, our body is energy that is vibrating at a density of the physical plane. Science tells us that. That's what's really going on with our body. And our emotions are energy too. Through my work with my acting and my voice clients and my voiceover clients, I discovered that there are the specific emotions we feel correlate with very specific energy centers in our body. And when these centers are open, we typically feel empowering emotions. And when they are contracted, we typically feel disempowering emotions. Now, you may think of them and may already have related to them as chakras. Certainly, if you've taken a yoga class, you've experienced that. Where are these energy centers in our body? And science is catching up with all of this stuff now, saying, yeah, this really is going on. And as you explore these centers, you will probably recognize how you feel your emotions most fully in certain areas of your body. For example, we often feel anxiety and fear in our gut, in the middle, right? And that would be your third energy center, but you get this right there in the middle of your body. You can feel that the butterflies in your stomach. That's what it feels like when you're anxious. We say, I have butterflies in my stomach, right? That's that location of where you're feeling those. And we feel love in our heart center, right? Don't we, right here? We even say, oh, I love you. Often when I'm working with my voice clients and actors, I might say, to connect with something where they have to really feel some love. It's like, put your hands on your heart and just say the words, right? I love you, which really can connect us to that center. Now, we're going to go, there are 3 processes that I work with to free and empower our emotional life for our creative work. I'll go ahead and share my screen a little bit so you can see what those are. So there's the emotional awareness practice, where we start to embody and value our own rich experiences and feelings. We're going to take a look at that today a little bit. My emotional connection technique, where you connect your voice and your honest emotions to the text that you're speaking. And I know that Tish in the VO Dojo, we do a lot of that work in the VO Dojo, and we can then actually use your voice to connect to that too as well. And the emotional power and freedom process, where you use your voice and your body awareness to find and free up your emotional range. So you really go in there and you find that and you free it up. Okay. Now, we want to honor all of our emotions and make friends with them. We all have a wealth of emotions and experiences to draw from. And by tapping into these experiences, we can create performances and creative output that really feels real and authentic. We want to honor all of our emotions and make friends with them. It's healthy, but then we can also use it in our work. The key is that if we can accept our feelings, they can become our friends. So even these negative emotions, it's healthy for us to safely explore these emotions, because it frees us from being controlled by them. And here's the other thing. If you're working in games, reading audiobooks, or doing animation, your character might be feeling a lot of these feelings. And if you don't know how to express them yourself, how are you going to express them through your characters? Right? Notice the range of it too. We're not just feeling angry, rage, irritation, resentment, frustration, all of that. Now, the other thing, it's impossible to feel the really good feelings, the empowerful feelings, when we have stuffed down the bad feelings. For example, it's impossible to feel powerful and safe when we're sitting on anger and resentment that's unexpressed. Now, we want to honor also all of these empowering feelings too, right? Because we're going to be using these, especially in commercial work. We might be using a lot of these, and also in animation and games, right? So we've got things like happiness, love, self-confidence, creativity, surprise, and awe, safety, self-worth, compassion, feeling abundant, satisfied. All of these things are really empowering feelings that we want to start to make friends with as well. So I want to share with you a practice that you can start today that I call the emotional awareness practice. AHA is the acronym for it, AHA, AHA. And so what you want to do is first you want to accept. So you want to start to pay attention to your own emotions and those of the people around you. What do your emotions really feel like? I mean, emotions are universal: happiness, joy, sadness, all anger or irritation, but we all feel them in a specific way. So what do your emotions really feel like? So start with the accept. Then you want to honor them. You want to write them down. Honor what you're feeling today and what you've experienced in the past. I really highly recommend, and when I work with people in my class, we get journals and they start writing down what their feelings, what they felt. Not only in the day, like I felt something today, but I remember when I was in high school, I had this feeling, I really hated that girl. And so in my journal, I journaled about someone that I really hated in high school. And it was about a paragraph, but I really talked about how I felt and where I was and all of that. And here's the cool thing. It was about this girl, Robin Adair. And years later, Robin and I became very good friends. And she passed a couple of years ago, and I really grieved her passing. But in high school, I hated her. So I'm going to honor that feeling. Can I use it in my work? Absolutely. Absolutely. So you don't have to relive these old feelings, but you want to honor them. And then appreciate it. Appreciate that you have all kinds of feelings and none of them are bad. Emotions are just energy. Right? So now we're going to look at the emotional connection technique. And I would like to work with somebody with this. It would be really great if I could work with somebody here in the room, in our room. So if somebody wants to jump in, maybe Jeffrey, you can see if somebody would like to try this technique.
Yeah, I just saw Terry Briscoe. Hello, Terry. Come on down.
Hey, Jeffrey, what's up?
Hey.
Hey, Terry.
Hi, Faith.
How are you?
Doing well. How you doing? Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you perfectly.
Great.
Great, right, yeah. So the goal of practicing this technique is to train your voice and body to consistently respond authentically and deeply to the moment.
Okay.
And to develop trust that your body will respond to the text without all of your thinking getting in the way. So what we're going to do right now is, first of all, you want to resist the temptation to know how you are supposed to respond. Because most of us in this room are pretty smart people. I know that we are. And we're going to know, like, oh, I know how this is supposed to play out. But we're going to resist that temptation. You want to keep focusing on what's happening in the moment. Keep your focus on the physical feelings in your body and allow your feelings to flow. Don't judge what you're feeling. Okay, so these are the lines we're going to be using today.
Should I read ahead or?
Yeah, so look at them right now. Go ahead and look at the lines, Terry, and just kind of look at them. And I want you to go ahead and, without like presupposing what you're supposed to be feeling, let the words affect you.
Okay.
Instead of thinking that you have to affect the words, let the words affect you for a second. And let's see what's going on. Go ahead and give me these words.
You want all three?
I do.
Okay. As God is my witness, they're not going to break me. I'm going to live through this. And when it's all over, I'll never be hungry again. No, nor any of my family. If I have to lie, steal, cheat, or kill, we will get through this.
Nice, Terry. Yeah. Powerful words, aren't they?
Very.
Yeah, powerful words. Well, let's begin again. Let's get this first sentence. Go ahead and give me that first sentence again. Go ahead and speak that.
As God is my witness, as God as my witness, they're not going to break me.
Great. So I want to pull you back in your body just a little bit right now, okay? And the way we're going to do that is kind of interesting. I want you to imagine God is up here, and you're going to speak these words to God as God is my witness. And give me those words again.
Okay. As God as my witness, as God is my witness, they're not going to break me.
Great, great. That was really interesting. It felt like you connected a little bit more, didn't it?
Yes, it did.
Yeah. Now, what I noticed is that your very first line, you were connected as God is my witness. And then you tried to change something on the second line.
Yes.
Yeah. Don't do that. Just allow your voice and your body to express.
Okay.
You might say it exactly the same way both times. I don't know. We don't know what's going to happen, do we?
We do not.
In real life, I might say, I hate you. I hate you. I hate you. Right. But I don't know what I'm going to say.
Right.
I just don't. I don't know how I know what I'm going to say, perhaps, but not how I'm going to say it. Let's try that line again. And again, declare this to God as God is my witness. And I liked when you kind of lean back in your body like that. You don't have to look up, but we're going to use that just today to get that feeling.
Okay. As God is my witness, as God is my witness, they're not going to break me.
Great. That was nice. I felt that. Now we got a lot of emotion in your hands right now. Let's let the emotion happen in your body. The hands are great. We can use them to describe, to emote with. But if we put too much emotion in our hands, it's taking away from our voice. So let's try that again. And you don't have to look up this time.
Okay. As God is my witness, as God is my witness, they're not going to break me.
Great. Great. Beautiful. That felt different, didn't
Very,
it?
very tense.
You felt like, right? Tell me where you're feeling the tension.
I'm feeling it here, like
Yeah.
right in the upper chest area here.
I think you're feeling it in your heart.
Yeah.
I think that's what's going on. Because I don't feel a ton of tension in your body when you're speaking right now, but I do feel like the emotion came from the heart.
Still feel it now, actually.
Yeah. Isn't that amazing?
It
And we
is.
still feel this. Right. Good. There's a really interesting word in this phrase. They're not going to break me. The word there. Right? So for you, put some context. You don't even have to tell us who they are.
It's anyone that's telling me that I can't achieve the thing that I want to do.
Okay. All right. This has to do with being hungry. So you might want to, could this be a game, or could this be a character in an animation where they're going through war? Right? They're in war, right? Could be.
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah. They're not going to break me. Now let's look at the second line. I'm going to live through this, and when it's all over, I'll never be hungry again. No, nor any of my family. Right? So through this, you're going to open up your body right now and speak from that place. I want you to speak from your center right now, right there. Because this is about declaring you're gonna make this happen, right? Confidence, right there in the middle of our body. The opening feeling of confidence versus the closed feeling of fear. So open up to the confidence there in that second line.
Okay. I'm going to live through this. And when it's all over, I'll never be hungry again. No.
Be hungry again.
Nor any of my family.
Good. Do that again for me.
I'm going to live through this. And when it's all over, I'll never be hungry again. No, nor any of my family.
Okay, great. So for me, that second take, Terry, was kind of up here. It wasn't from the center anymore. So open up your center, open up that confidence and declare this.
Okay. I'm going to live through this. And when it's all over, I'll never be hungry again. No, nor any of my family.
That felt believable. That felt believable to me. Yeah. Now, your last line, I want you to go to the very base of your spine and speak from the biggest power that you got. Not loud, power in your voice.
Okay. I'm going to live through this.
Oh, I'm sorry, the last line. If
You
I
just want
have
me to go straight to the last line?
say yes, the last line.
Okay. Nor any of my family.
If I have to lie, that's where I want you to go.
Oh, the whole lot. Okay, got you.
If I have to lie, steal, cheat, or kill, we would. And that's from the base of your spine, which is where your power is.
Got you. If I have to lie, steal, cheat, or kill, we will get through this.
Good. Let those words fall down your back, all the way down your spine.
If I have to lie, steal, cheat, or kill, we will get through this.
Yeah, Terry, I still think you're up in your head a little bit.
You think so?
Yeah, I do. Right? Give me this. Ah,
Ah,
yeah, but not out here, down around, down your back. Ah,
ah.
good. Now say the lines from
If
there.
I have to lie, steal, cheat, or kill, we will get through this.
Yeah, we're not quite there yet. Yes, but and in the short amount of time that we have, we can't quite get there yet because that's a hard space to come from sometimes. That's a place where a lot of us don't really access that power, and that's where rage and anger and power are all there down in that really the lowest part of our spine, and that's not something we're often really used to accessing. So, how was that for you?
Interesting.
Interesting?
Yeah, absolutely. It's
Yeah.
nice to gather from the different power centers to see if you can give a different performance. It'll also
Yeah.
help with the second read also and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I'll stop to share for just a second, then I want to share a few things about how this work, we can work together. Things are going on with this kind of work. What did you notice about Terry's read, Tish? Anything that you noticed as we were going through this?
I noticed that with the physicality of just changing the physicality of opening up the heart and opening up the arms, and then that something else happened vocally, and that you could feel it. There were certain ones, and I was like, "Whoa!" I felt that one, and then others that were more head oriented, hear it, but I didn't feel it, right?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
I could also feel the lid on it. Like feel it's in there, but I felt the lid on it in that way that when we hold ourselves back.
Now,
Yeah.
of course, it's important that your vocal instrument is strong enough and it's open enough and it's expressive enough that you can tap into these feelings because they work together. The instrument has to be really open and powered up, and then the emotions can be accessed. And there's ways to get to do that. Tish, do you know where these lines are from?
Scarlett O'Hara.
Gone with the Wind.
It's the heart of a dojo, man.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's words that could be going on right now today in our world, in any game that you're going to animation.
Sorry, I am the worst. Hold on. Yeah. I will never let my phone ring again. Sorry about that. Yeah, I think that's really powerful about what's going on in the world, particularly as actors right now. We're yeah.
We have the opportunity to really to use our voice in all kinds of places to express ourselves.
Mhm. Can you talk a little bit more, Faith, about like how to activate? Because when we're used to working from our brains, is it when we just think, like I think the bottom of my spine, but is there something physically we could do? Like, if you, I don't know, clench your butt cheeks or like
Yeah,
activate your
that's
core. Is there something physically
right.
that you can do to let the physicality open up? Like I think this does that. But what, like if you were to identify the chakras, what would be one thing that we can, like, okay, I'm just making stuff up now, but what would you say there's like a little touchstone of see what happens when you do this? Is it?
Well, the emotional power and freedom process that I teach goes into that. It's kind of it does take some time to feel it and work on it. I don't think we have enough time right here in this moment to do that, but it's about really going in and actually allowing ourselves to contract the energy in, like, say, in your gut, right? So you're going to contract that energy in the middle of, like, right there by the base of your spine. It's not your stomach muscles. It's not a muscular thing. It's an energetic thing. So track that energy. And then here's the deal. You have to allow yourself to express that emotion, say it's anxiety, for at least 2 minutes to fully feel it. Research shows us that if we don't like allow ourselves to express it for at least 2 minutes, we're not fully feeling it. And that's the deal. If we don't fully feel it, we can't release it. It's
That's
stuck
okay.
in
2 minutes
there.
is a long time. It doesn't sound
Tell
like a
me
long time,
about it. Yeah.
but especially when if you've been conditioned to
Right.
really trust that you can get through
Yeah.
2 minutes of whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
And so
interesting.
what happens in this process, in this emotional power and freedom process that I created working with actors and a voiceover and a voice course that I was working with them, I started creating this technique, this process. So what we do is I guide them through that 2 minutes together. We work through it. We use words, we use sounds, we use this to try to express that for those 2 minutes. Then we move it, blow it out of our body. We release it out of our body. Here's the cool thing. When you need it in your work, your body will go there now.
Like clearing the pipes.
Yeah, you cleared the pipes. Also, the body went, hey, I didn't die when I got angry. Nothing happened. It was okay, right? Your body is repressing the anger, like in your shoulders get tight because it doesn't want you to drop down fully into that anger because it's protecting you. From going into the bank and raging at somebody, which we do though, because if this is what happens, if we don't have a safe place to, like, open up and feel these feelings, which our work is a perfect place for that, right? If we don't have a place for that, we do go in the bank and yell at somebody because, we're frustrated.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah. So I hope I answered that question. That's that process of going in there and it's working with the energy. There's also I think the emotional awareness practice where you start writing down your feelings and you get connected to the way you really feel about things and what has happened in your life is very powerful. I suggest everybody start doing that today. Buy a journal, start to document it, honor your feelings, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Um, let's see. This is a good place to share how to connect and continue, and then we can open it up to questions. And I'd
Yeah.
um, love to hear what's resonating, and open it up to anything that anyone would like to share what they've taken in so far. And
I'm going
yeah.
to share this for just a second because I'm in the middle of an 8-week class that we're working with this. This is the second cohort of that. We're doing another one in September and October. And this is where we're going to explore your emotions in your emotional range and remove those blocks. The same things that we are talking about, we're going to do it really in depth in the 8-week course. And it's a real system that works every time to take the emotional connection to your work. And we're using the emotional connection technique the emotional awareness practice, which we talked about, and the emotional power and freedom process. So we're going to doing all of that. And then we apply that to monologues, short scenes, talks, or songs. So it's just short little 4 different line scenes that are designed to really push your emotional range. And Chris Hernandez, who you know,
I
because
remember.
she's a Dojo member. She's in the class in May and June, and this is some of the stuff that she said
Mhm. Yeah,
about.
this is powerful.
Yep, yep. So I'm going to stop the share then.
Yeah. And then how do people keep in touch with you? How do people find out more?
Well, I think Jeffrey put it in the chat, but if you can email me at faith@theartistfirst.com. That's my website, and the website is in there too, theartistfirst.com. And if you go to theartistfirst.com, there's going to be a pop-up, and you can get a free 12 do's and don'ts for vocal health. So that's something that's a gift to you guys. So go ahead and do that. That's get you started on some of the vocal health. That's a whole other thing that we just tackled in a couple weeks ago, right? Tish, the vocal health.
Right. Yeah. So much. Each season has its own issues. Yeah. Good. And then just before as we open it up to the questions, everything that Faith is talking about in terms of energy, energy, the foundation of the dojo and everything that we do here is voiceover is communication, and communication is an exchange of vibrational energy. So I think what Faith is talking about is how do we activate that? How do we get that flowing so that we're always doing it, and not that when we're holding back emotions and things, there's things that are communicated, but how can we open up the full range of everything? So this is incorporated into everything we do at the dojo, and would love to have talk with you about how to get involved with the dojo. Taylor, actually, you want to share with people how they can touch base with the dojo, and then we'll open it up to questions and what resonated for you guys. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Hi, guys. Hi, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this wonderful get to know video with Faith Rumer. I definitely learned a lot, especially the 2 minute was part of my, oh, that's a good idea. Stay in that emotion for 2 minutes. I definitely enjoyed that. So here at the Field Dojo, we have a lot of different things going on. Like this webinar, we do the 3rd Wednesday of every month. And we also have the Ask the Sensei, the 1st Wednesday of every month at 10 a.m. Pacific time. We offer a complimentary voiceover once-over with our team, completely complimentary to you guys. When scheduling it, just from this webinar, the keyword will be get to know VL Faith Rumer. So when you schedule a complimentary voiceover once-over with me from this moment on for this one, make sure that you tell me that, because we do have a certain offer that I will be sharing on all of my consults when I know that you were on this call. And so that is, and I think we're going to put the link up. We're going to share the screen, put that up on the board, and then also put it in the chat there. And just to give more insight on the consult, it's really just for you just to ask any questions, any concerns, tips about voiceover. And it's for us to find out where are you presently in your voiceover journey and what can we do to meet you where you are so that we can pull even more potential out of that.
Yeah. Where are you and where would you like to be? Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. And I'd like to share one more thing. Once a year, we have a scholarship for the dojo. That's called the Danielle Escobar Scholarship, and applications are being taken now. and we would love to hear from you. Daniel was an original Mystery to Mastery member, an old theater colleague of mine who had done the Mystery to Mastery program and was just coming into the world, just getting calls from people saying, "Who was that at that fight club? Who was that guy?" And he, after all the things that he has been through and gone through, he passed away just as it was happening. So I've always held a place in everything that I do at the dojo with Daniel's spirit of someone who has done it, was doing it no matter what, and didn't have a chance to complete that. So check it out. We're accepting applications for the next couple of weeks, and yeah, it's a great way for you to articulate to yourself who you are and what you're bringing to this and why you're doing it. So very valuable, no matter what. So look forward to meeting you from any of those opportunities. Yeah. So
Also, I wanted to mention there was one last thing that I forgot. Our You Should Do voiceover. Our next training is coming up. It's August 3rd. That's 4 Saturdays in a row. And that's going to be 9 a.m. Pacific time to 11 a.m. So that is our You Should Do voiceover, where we will go over the 4 genres, the overview, how to start your business, and how to continue to be successful in your voiceover career.
yeah,
So that's starting as well.
yeah. So it seems like
August 5th. Yeah.
Texas, yeah, yeah. Awesome. So those are things that are going on. Let's come back to where we are right this minute. What questions do you guys have? What's resonated for you today?
I have a question.
Yes, Kevin, what's your question?
So, about getting to voice acting, so how much do you need to keep on acting until you get it right then?
You mean how much acting experience do you need to be a voice actor? Is that what your
Yeah,
question
for,
is?
yeah,
Well,
for
I don't,
anyone. Yeah, for
well,
anyone to be a voice
yeah, I
actor. Yeah.
I don't think there's any formula. I don't think there's any formula. We have people who come through the dojo who have never acted before, and they have very successful careers. The key is, and the reason that you go into acting classes or study acting is to do exactly what we're talking about here, is to be able to access your authentic emotions in any situation to any extreme that any script and any acting opportunity, any opportunity, whether that's voiceover on camera or theater or puppetry or whatever you're doing, that you're able to know who you are, access the deepest and highest expressions of the range of everything that you are and everything that you're bringing, and be able to do that effortlessly and immediately. So, so sometimes people don't even need to go to acting school. Sometimes acting school gets in the way of you doing those things because it puts you in your brain where you naturally might have been there. So it's really, I think, Kevin and everybody, the what we're talking about today is the heart, is the essence of what you would do in acting school or in an acting class. So yes, if it's something that you haven't experienced, or it's either something you haven't spent a lot of time doing, right? So when you go to acting school, you spend 4 years and that's all you do all day long, right? All day and all night. And if you're doing something else, you may not do it as much. So you have practice and you have those hours towards it. So there's no set amount or things that you have to get a stamp or paper. It really is you understanding what your access to your emotional authenticity, your authentic emotions, and how you're able to share and express them. So yeah, yeah, good, good, good. Excellent question,
Okay.
Kevin.
Yeah,
Um,
and
Kelsey,
the next
we're,
one is
we're
also
almost, Kev, we're gonna take your first question and then answer some other questions because we're coming up on time. So if you could hold that second question, that'd be great.
thank
Okay,
you very much. This is my
thanks.
question for now, though.
Kelsey.
Hi. So my question, I found this super helpful, as someone, yeah, who's like feels like I've built up a wall, and I found the 2 minute thing really helpful. Like I didn't even realize. Um, I was wondering if you have, is there any type of method that you recommend tapping into for actors? Like, is there any specific one that you have found is more helpful, especially for people with like complex trauma? Just curious.
There's a lot of different acting techniques and things out there. I've synthesized a lot of them into my work. When you're dealing with trauma, the emotional work that we're doing right now is really helpful. I have a couple of people in class who've had a lot of emotional trauma and been gone through it. And the thing is that you want to be in a technique or a process or a class that recognizes how not to push you to a place where it just doesn't feel like you could erupt into something that you can't deal with. And if you are going through trauma, it's always great to have to access therapy as well. There's nothing wrong, that's another good thing. As far as acting techniques, like I said, there are so many different kinds of acting techniques. Meryl Streep said, when she went to Yale, she said that she takes a little bit of, took a little bit of all of her acting classes and ideas and techniques and synthesize it into what she does. But she said the best classes, the most helpful classes she took were her voice and movement classes.
Mm.
So I was going to say, when your body's open and you're not holding everything in, that all of that feeling of trauma and sense of like this can be released, and then you can act from a real place that's authentic, and that's really what it's about. It's not about finding some kind of technique that if I write these things down and do this character development and everything, I'm going to be a great actor. It doesn't work that way. It really works by allowing yourself to be a real human being and express that.
Right. And then I think what we're talking about today too, Faith, you were talking about the emotions get into us on a cellular level. And I think particularly with traumatic experiences, they may not, I think in the most extreme, where it does become part of something that it does become toxic, that is where, if you think of it, that we're carrying that in us, and if it forms into a ball, then that can become a tumor. But if you start thinking about how do you dissolve a tumor, it's about releasing, about letting the energy flow into it and around it. And then the practice becomes, how do we know that we are safe? How do we know that we are able to manage, right? Not manage, but to contain, right? To be powerful containers of all of this that is in, and release, like, a burning, like you would burn all of that stuff and let it all go up in smoke. And then be able to rebuild to be able to build so I think that's part of the practice as well. Whatever it is, whatever methodology allows you to do that and to understand your power and your strength in being able to do that, creating space where you are supported in that, then you can always trust yourself to notice and release, right? And then there's space for other things to happen.
So wisely said, Tish. So wisely said. Absolutely. Did that help,
Thank
Kelsey?
Thank you.
Yeah. What else, guys? What else are you taking away? What resonated today, or what questions do you have?
I have a question.
Yeah.
This might go with what you just said, but do you have any tips for getting outside of your head and not being so self-conscious and maybe what you're reading and just kind of letting yourself just be in the moment? Because I tend to get inside my head a lot.
Yes, that you're not alone, first of all. But I think the one of the number one things I always tell people when they're get in their head and they're doing their read is like stretch, get up, move around, do something, get back. You got to get back into your body, and start to notice yourself noticing yourself. Because if you have a tendency to direct yourself as you're doing your read, you are in your head directing, right? Tish has a wonderful process of connecting to the words and connecting to the text, but a lot of that is done. And then as you go through the read, you let yourself go through the read. You're not analyzing as you go, because if you analyze as you go, you're back up in your head.
And I think one of the other foundational ideas that we talk about is when we're working on voiceover in particular, because it is just the energy that comes through the vocality. The vocality follows the physicality. The emotion goes through both of those things, and all we receive is the voice. One of the key switches that we talk about are little semantic shift, but instead of thinking about reading something, think about sharing something, right? So we are always reading when we're doing voiceover, right? We don't memorize things, we don't lift it up off the page. So technically we are always reading. However, where the magic happens, where the connection happens, is when we're actually sharing something. And when that is authentic, then someone receives that authenticity, and that's where the connection comes. So one simple thing to do, Rose, is I think when we're reading and when we go in our own heads, we're thinking about ourselves. And when we're sharing with something, we're not thinking about ourselves. We're thinking about, how are you receiving this? How are you receiving this, Rose? I can't see your face, but I see your beautiful picture. And so my energy is going to, you with me? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's a real simple thing. Like when we're in our head, we're worried about us, right? Um, one thing, this is interesting. This is a little technical thing, but it's something people can do physically. I call this poor man's cans, and it's sometimes a technical thing. Um, um, but do this. So this is something, the difference between wearing headphones and not wearing headphones. But on an emotional basis, I think it's what happens. So put your hands up like this, and then speak into the room. And this is when this I'm sharing with you. I'm speaking into the room. We're in a virtual room, so I'm sharing with you, but I'm talking with you and I'm connecting with everybody here, right? Now, put your arms together and speak into the room. And suddenly, for me, all of you are like kind of there, but mostly what I hear is my voice. Wow, there's my voice. Wow. And I think, could you guys feel that? Did you experience that? I think
Yes.
when we get caught in our head, that's like, ooh, how does that sound? Oh, that sounded really good. Oh, wow, that was terrible. But we forget that we're connecting with someone else. That's the point. We're in the room with someone else. So, um, yeah, yeah. And it's not that we're not thinking. We're always thinking. We have to be super sharp and analyzing and then allowing. So, yeah. Is that helpful, Rose?
Yes, that's very helpful the way you put it.
Yeah,
It
I
puts
think
a
it
new
just
perspective about just sharing with other people. Because yeah, when you're in a conversation, you're not thinking about yourself. You're talking
Mhm.
to this person and listening to them.
Yeah, and also there's the ways that we are taught and trained to read out loud that are very ingrained in us, that we always do this and we're conveying information. So yeah. Oh, were you going to say, Faith?
Well, I think one of the biggest traps people fall into in voiceover reason and acting too, as well as is like we're not giving information. Even though we are giving information, that can't be where we're centering from. So even if I was in an acting scene with somebody and I was telling them, my father, it's like I'm pregnant and I don't know what to do about it, right? So I'm giving information to someone, not just information. It's like there's something, I'm sharing something with them about how I feel in that moment, right? I'm not just giving them information. So that, even though when we're doing commercials, we are giving information, aren't we? We're giving information to people, but if that's where we're coming from, then it's going to be a very cold sounding, detached read.
Which is what computers can do.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
I love that you started with that. Yeah.
Yeah, computers can give us information for sure.
Yeah. Anything else is great. Great, Rose. Thank you for that. Yeah. Anything else? Questions? Other things that resonated? Um, Fantastic that you all are here. Um, this work is the heart of what we do at the dojo. So, in pretty much everything that we do, comes from this very organic, very heart-centered place. And then we use our brains to steer it. One of the things I say at the dojo is you can't drive the car from your brain. Everything comes from your gut and your heart. Um, and if you are driving the car from your brain, you're not going anywhere. Um, it's kind of like a little kid sitting in the front seat going, because we need to have the thing that moves things forward, that actually takes you where you want to be, is from the engine, and the power drive is from your gut and your heart. And so when that is open and flowing, then you can drive the car, right? So, yeah, yeah. Well, this is fantastic, Faith. Thanks so much for being here with us today and sharing us with so much this month, and opening up our hearts and spirits and minds to these possibilities. I think it is so, when you're figuring out a new thing or on the trail, it's easy to go like, huh, 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 what do I gotta do? And we forget that it's allowing and opening up is how we can start receiving, right? As well as moving forward. So
Thank you
yeah.
so much for having me here, Tish. It was a pleasure as always. And I'm just very passionate about this work because I've seen such a change in people doing it.
Yeah, yeah, it's great. Well, thanks everyone for being here. We'll look forward to seeing you soon. And thanks Jeffrey and Tyler Ashley for keeping everything rolling and flowing. And yeah, we'll have a replay of this if you want to explore more. And,
Well, last question for me.
okay, real
Okay,
quick.
so
We're gonna wrap up.
yeah,
1 minute. Mhm.
yeah, so yeah. So the question is, so it doesn't matter if you want to go to college or not to study your voice acting, is it? Isn't it?
I didn't hear the question. Do you need to go to college to study voice acting? Is that what your question
Yeah.
is?
Yeah. Is it going to be their choice? They would love to go to college to voice acting, or to do voice acting at home when they have a studio.
Okay. Oh, let me parse this out. So, I think unfortunately, one of the things that our mission at the dojo is that unfortunately, a lot of college level, university level theater and acting training does not include voiceover still. So if you're thinking about going to college, the foundations of what you will learn there um, are life changing, and will teach you a lot about being a human in the world. It's not just about acting, so that's very important. But you should look into what opportunities are at the program that you're interested in, and you don't have to. I mean, we often say that what we do at the dojo is kind of like getting a master's degree in voiceover. So you can approach that, and it's on your own. You just have to create the discipline and the structure for yourself if it's something that if you're pursuing on your own. I think that answered your question. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
Good.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah. Nothing against college. Love college. College is all about finding out who you are and what you're about and what you got to get to get through it. So yeah. Good. All right. Well, thanks everybody. Great to see you. And we'll see you next. As the sensei is Neil Kaplan, who's a colleague of mine. I've worked with him for many years. He's amazing voiceover, animation, and video game. You might know him as one of the voices of Optimus Prime, but he's voiced so many things. So we'll be looking forward to that. And yeah, look forward to talking with all of you. And write us and let us know how your 2 minutes go. Like what happened. Send us an email or go to the Facebook page and go, oh my God, I was angry for 2 minutes and it was awesome. Or I danced in the rain and for 2 minutes and it was awesome. But yeah, let us know how it goes. So
I love it,
thanks
Tish.
everyone. Yay. Thanks everyone. We'll see you soon.